I used to have a dream that I had a funeral and nobody cried because I didn't mean anything to anybody.
Up here, we're all one heart and one mind and one vision and one family.
We're doing something with these boys that nobody's ever done.
Inspiring boys to defy the odds, because many of the boys come from broken homes.
And for most of these boys, the odds are truly stacked against them. Their fathers have either deserted the family, been imprisoned, or are just not functioning. At a vulnerable age where they desperately need a father figure, a positive role model can make all the difference. For half a century, this positive role model has been provided by R.M. Pyles Boys Camp.
When you look back at the 50 years that Pyles Camp has been, I think one of the biggest accomplishments that we've done is that we've maintained a trueness, we've maintained integrity with our original mission, and that was to help boys.
The Pyles Camp reaches down to those that really need it and can't get it any other way. That's what makes it fantastic.
The Pyles experience is like a bright light in the darkness.
In 2 intensive weeks of wilderness camp, the Pyles program teaches boys the value of teamwork, teaches them self-confidence, self-reliance, and responsibility. Most importantly, it teaches them that through significant personal effort, anything is possible.
I still need to believe in myself, conquer my fear. Now, I feel very proud of myself.
When our boys return from camp, they're not the same. They've matured, they've grown, they've gone through some process that's had a very positive impact.
The camp has a spirit, the camp spirit that nobody can define. There's a feeling when you get up there, and you can sense it most strongly when they have those final night campfires.
This camp really, it changed my point of view of the future, the way I wanted to be, the way I looked at school, education, my friends. It helped me a lot. I had problems at home. And when I came here, my father had just left. And so I wanted to be just like a good father to me.
You're taking kids off the street that other people may turn their back on. And you're doing something with them.
Since its founding, more than 20,000 boys have benefited from the Pyles program.
I watched Mr. Pyles and this metamorphosis that happens to these boys. When they come here, they're one type of boy. When they go home, they're another type of boy. And he knew that we were making miracles happen. And he would walk around the edge of the campfire, and the light of the fire would show on the boy's face, and he would look at that boy and look at that boy. And after a while, he had to walk away because his heart was so big that he would be tearful about this time.
One thing that Pyles Camp does is it owes a deep sense of gratitude and a deep sense of thanks to the men and women of the oil industry. And it's not just the major companies, which we have gotten a lot of support from, but the men and women of the oil industry, the men and women who worked in the serving lines in our barbecue parties, the men and women who sold tickets, the men and women who came up and built the camp. It's the individual people within the oil industry, and one of the legacies that they're going to leave is the legacy of Pyles Boys Camp. And that's significant, and that's something that's very, very powerful.
Volunteers have existed since the very beginning, and without the volunteers, Pyles Camp would not be able to serve the boys as well as they do.
I am really proud to be a part of the selection process and to be able to impact the lives of the boys that I send up there.
I've seen dramatic changes in kids who have gone to the camp, come back almost like they're like a different person.
This camp is more like, going, how can you say this, going to heaven and coming back and saying, you know what? There's more to look up to than just the streets. This is like coming up here and saying, I want to be something, and now I have somebody to help me.
Those 2 weeks profoundly changed me. They made me who I am today, and I thank camp for that. Those 2 weeks that have made me all that I am, not only at work but at home and as a family man.
Camp for me has been, I think, the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life, ever, and I appreciate it.
We talk about the Pyles Camp family, and the Pyles Camp family is whether you're a camper, whether you're a worker, whether you're a work party participant, whether you're a fundraiser for us, you're still part of that Pyles Camp family, and the family feeling that we care about you as a person, whether you're a camper, whether you're a volunteer. That comes through, and so many people and volunteers say, you know, I'm part of the Pyles Camp family, and I'm proud to be a part of that. It's that family that makes Pyles Camp strong.
We have 50 years of involving ourselves with the oil industry. The oil industry is busy making oil, and we're busy making boys and men out of boys and so forth. And we have 50 years of this, and it works.
I came here and I found direction in my life.
And I think this is the greatest experience I ever had. Especially when I was out there in the mountains. I saw everybody struggling the same way I was. We work as a team. We got it through everything we want to do. And I think this has been the greatest experience I ever had.
I think this camp has really changed my life. Like how the way I look at my parents and all my friends and stuff. Now I realize that I take for granted a lot of things. And I learned to love my parents more.
You've brought about changes in me that I've never thought possible. And I just want to say thank you.
When I go back to Long Beach, I'm going to try to help out. I'm going to give back to the community. I'm going to try to help out somebody else that's less fortunate than I am. Because now I know.